Hello everyone, wishing you all a very good morning. I hope all of you are safe, sound, happy and healthy. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Good morning Abhiram. Good morning Niharika. Okay, chalo then. I think everything is fine in this universe. Let us start with the same instructions. Keep your mobiles off. Good morning Tarun. I mean not mobiles off. The mobile camera off so that your video does not lag. I hope my video is not lagging, nothing. Sit in a place which is quiet, where you get good network. If you have to send any message, you can do it at the ID of Astic. I always log in by 2 IDs, or you can send it to everyone. So that is how we begin the class always. We always begin the class the same way, the same concept, that we have a quick recap of what we had done in the previous class. So, can anyone recollect what we had done in the previous class? Where did we finish the lecture in the previous class? Anyone has any idea? What was the last question that we did or what we were discussing? Equilibrium. Yes, definitely, beta. We were discussing equilibrium. Were we doing any question in that equilibrium? Had I given you any question that we were discussing? We were doing problems. Yes, that is what I recollect too. Just going to have a look at the PDF of what problems we had done. Okay, we had done this. Okay, as I can see very clearly that I had given you two problems to solve. Problem number 4 and 5 that are right now on my other screen. You have to find the value of mass, tension T, normal reaction N, and as it seems that no one has done this. Not good. No one has tried the questions. Not even Niharika this time. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, you tried. Little bit of confusion is good in life. The life, if see, try to understand one thing, everyone. If in your life there is no problem, your life is full of goodies, you will not enjoy it for long. Ah, you might have heard all these princes in the years that have gone by. They had everything. They don't have to do any work. They can move around here and there, but still they used to get bored of that life because they wanted challenges. Why life cannot be full of goodies every time? Because then it becomes boring, it becomes monotonous. Motivational lecture for today. Life has to be filled with struggles and goodies. When you struggle and you get something, then only you enjoy it. If, for example, if now at this point in time, my son, he keeps on asking me to get me new games for him on his PS4. Right now, he is wanting to get Minecraft. Now, if as soon as he tells me, I give him that game, he will not understand the importance of struggle. He will not cherish the moment because he will wish and he'll get it. I can get it at any time, in any point in time. But no, that is not the way it is done. Everything has to be attained. You should work for everything. Similarly, if I give you a question, not every time you will get an answer because every time you get an answer, you'll get bored. Ah, it's very simple. If we are getting answer, I'm getting bored. No, life cannot be all about all good things happening at the same time, everything happening in your favor. It cannot be like that. It won't be like that. Life is full of struggles. You have to always look for ways in which you can overcome those struggles. And my thing looks very bad. Why am I drawing it like this? Let me keep it like this. Okay. Now, this is my surface, as everyone can see. I had this block of 5 kg kept on this. Then I had this pulley, and on this pulley, there was a block M hanging on it. Then I had a second pulley, and I had a second mass. I think that mass was given as 10 kg. And this was the question given to you, and you were supposed to find out the value of M, the tension T in the strings. I guess we all know that there are two strings, string number 1 and string number 2. And we were supposed to find out the value of normal reaction N. So your time starts now again. The time starts now again. Give you 2 minutes. Look at the problem and see if you can do anything out of it. I can very well do it. I can give you the problem, and as soon as I give you the problem, I can start solving it. That will save a lot of time for me. That will save a lot of energy that I spend in talking all these things. But then it will not serve any purpose. Because if I straight away give you the answer, you will never try for the question. Same example as my son asking for something and I don't give him. Everything has to be achieved. You have to work for it. If you don't work for it, you will never understand it. Same for physics. Life and physics are same. That is why I love physics. That is why I want all of you to love physics. Enough of lectures. Get back to the question. 2 minutes you will get. Let me see who can solve this. I hope everyone is trying. Abhiram, Akshay, Vishal, I'm getting some new people. Kiran Bedi, Niharika, Tanu, my old students. Tarun, Rahul, I think is new. Nayan, I think is old but looking new because he was probably not in the class these days. Yeah, now I can remember your names, even though I have short-term memory loss. But to relate your names with your faces, because I have not seen your faces, would be tough. So that is one challenge I am going to face. Anyways, anyone with an answer? I think someone gave me an answer. Niharika gave me the answer for normal reaction. Normal reaction is 50. You have to take GS10. The normal reaction is 50. That was the easiest of the lot, but there are still more questions here remaining. Anyone would how let me have a quick raise of hands. How many of you are trying the question? First of all, how many of you are seriously looking to solve this question? Niharika definitely is. Only 3 people are trying to solve the question. Niharika, Tarun and Abhiram. That is not a good start. What about the others? Nayan, Rahul, Tanu, Kiran probably will not know. New class maybe. Vishal, you were there in the previous class. Akshay, what about you? Are you not trying? Why are you not trying then? Without trying, you will not never get an answer. 3 people are definitely trying. The rest are still thinking of trying. Tanu, what happened to you? Are you okay, beta? Health is fine? You got sick, I think, some days back. You missed a class or 2, if I remember it correctly. Anyone got an answer? No one? Then I will have to start my process of doing it. As you can see, the first step was draw a sketch. Sketch is already there. I don't have to draw it. The second step is isolate all the bodies. They are actually isolated. They are away from each other, so I can assume that they are isolated. I will not isolate them physically and then draw their FBDs because it will take a lot of time. The only thing that we are concerned, and I always keep on telling you every day, is NEET. Your exam NEET is all about time and all about all about conserving your time. The more the time you can save, the better are your chances of getting into that plus 600 category. Plus 600 gets you a college of your choice. All of these are isolated. Draw the free body diagram. So I have to draw the forces. Let us start with the tension in the string 1. Then it is string 1. Let me call it as T1. Pulling this mass up, pulling this pulley down, pulling this pulley here. We are not concerned about the pulley right now. It will be pulling this mass here. That is the tension in the pulley 1. Let us come to the pulley. Let us come to the string 2. These tensions are not related because they are not attached to a pulley. So this becomes T2 pulling, T2 pulling the pulley, T2 pulling the pulley, T2 pulling the mass. So now I am done with the tension in the string, but that is not the only force. Now let us talk about individual bodies. Let us start with this block M. One force acting on this block is T1. The only other force is the weight mg. G is 10. Let me write it as mg only. In the end, I will put the value of G as 10. So this becomes the free body diagram of body 1. Yes or no? Do we all agree on this? Can I have some raised hand that we agree on this? The thing that I've drawn becomes the free body diagram of block M. Now let us think about this block. There is one force T1 on one side, right hand side. There is one force T2 on the left hand side. I have already drawn them. Let us look at the other forces. One is the gravity, which is acting downwards. Mass is 10, gravity is G or 10. Mass is 5, gravity is G or 10. So this becomes 50 Newton. So 50 Newton comes down. Normal reaction from ground comes up. This entire thing, which I have drawn inside a loop, becomes the free body diagram of 5 kg block. Do we all understand this? I hope we do. Now we are left with the only task of drawing the free body diagram of the last body, 10 kg block. Gravity will be acting downwards. It will be 10 into G. G is 10. So this is 10 into 10 is 100. The only other force is T2, which is acting upwards. There is no other force acting on this block. So this becomes the free body diagram of this block of 10 kg mass. Step number 2 or step number 3 done. What about the next? Assume axis for all these bodies. What will be the axis? For this is the axis, x and y. For this is the axis, x and y. Horizontal and vertical. For this is the axis, x and y. Now what? Resolve forces along those axes. T1 and mg are along y, no need to resolve. Normal n and 50 along y, no need to resolve. T1 and T2 along x, no need to resolve. T2 and 100 along y, no need to resolve. So no need to solve anything. What do you do next? You equate the forces. Now look at this block. There is no force on the x-axis, so there is nothing to equate on the x-axis. There is only force on the y-axis. This block is in equilibrium, so we only equate this force. What is the upward force? T1. What is the downward force? M into G. G is 10. 10 M. So T1 becomes 10 M. Do we all understand this? Everyone? Or is there a doubt? Please raise hand if you have understood this. T1 is 10 M. Okay. Now let us look at this block. Forces on x-axis should equate. So let us write the forces on x-axis. X-axis, if you look, one force is T1. One force is T1. on the right hand side, T1. The other force is T2 on the left hand side, T2. T1 should be equal to T2. That is the equation that I have made along x-axis. T1 same as T2. Now we look at forces along y. 50 is downwards, n is upwards. So my y-axis becomes n is equal to 50. So I have the answer to one of the questions, the value of n becomes 50 Newton. Do you all understand this? Can I have raised hand that we understand this, sir? N becomes 50, T1 becomes equal to T2. That is the equations that we are getting from each wala block number 2. Let us move on to the third block. There is nothing on the x-axis here and here. Don't worry about the x-axis. The only equation of concern here is the y-axis. Upwards is T2. Downwards is 100. So my T2 becomes 100. So I know the tension in string 2, T2, but T2 and T1 both are same. So that also becomes 100. So T1 and T2 both are known. Both are 100 and 100 each. Do we understand this? Both are 100 and 100 each. I got it from the equation third of the third block. Then I put it again in the equation of second block. I got the value of T1. The only thing now remains is the value of M. How will I get the value of M? I know the value of T1 is 100 Newton. That must be equal to 10 M. That implies my M has to be equal to 10 kgs. And these are the set of the answers that we were looking at. This is 10 kgs. M is 10 kgs. Tension in both the strings are same, 100 and 100 Newton each. The value of normal reaction by ground on the block is 50 Newton. Now we'll have a quick understanding whether you have followed this question or not. Can I have raised hand that we understand this or not? How many people understand this? Starting from Nayan, Vashant, Tarun, Tanu, Kiran, Vishal, Akshay, Rahul. Do we understand this, beta? Tanu, where are you? Okay, great. Now, I hope this question has given you enough confidence. Let us talk about the next question that I gave. And how did that question look? Quite enterprising, I must say. There is a pulley here. There is a pulley here. Again, there is a pulley here. There is a block here. Here. There is a block here. The value of this block is M. Then this pulley is attached to a string and this string is attached to the wall. Well done. And here I think we had a block of mass 5 kg. So now again, the pattern passes on to you. You have to find the value of this block M. To find the value of M, tension in the strings, and the normal reaction from ground. How many strings you see here? Anyone? How many strings you see here? I think I see 2 strings. One is this bigger string, which is going from here all the way to this block 5. And the other one seems to be the smaller one, which is here. So you have to get me tension in both the strings, the normal reaction from ground on the block, and the value of mass M. How many of you feel that you should be able to do this question? How many of you feel that way? No one? How many of you are trying the question? Great. So we have good participation. I'm still waiting for Nayan, Vasant, Tarun, Kiran, Vishal, and Akshay and Rahul to join the party. Vasant has joined. Welcome, Vasant, to the party. This party is going to solve this question on your own. I'll give you time, 1 minute, 2 minutes, to think about this question and give me the answer. I'm in no haste. I have enough time. Because all these questions, if I just change a little thing, that becomes the most difficult question that we'll solve. N is 50. Yes, Niharika, I agree with you. N is 50. Agreed. Niharika is ready with his first answer. But let me give some time to everyone else, because I'm not satisfied with one answer only. I'll be satisfied when all of you try. Answers don't matter. I always tell you, answer can be wrong, answer can be right. It's just your way of thinking that I want to understand whether you are thinking it in the right way or not. Even if you are thinking, you think that you are not thinking in the right way, I'll make you understand how you can make that into the right way. Because nothing is right or wrong. It's only your point of perspective, how you take things. Someone who is doing something in Afghanistan, not allowing women to come out of their homes, they think that they are correct. In their dictionary, they are correct. But to us, they are wrong. Now, who is right, who is wrong? They will say, no, we are right. We will say, no, you are wrong. They will not understand our point of view. We will not understand their point of view. So, right and wrong are just relative terms. Motion is relative. Einstein told us everything in this universe is relative. Right and wrong are also relative. Nothing is absolute. Even time is not. Forget about rights and wrong. It's only about how you think. Anyone with an answer? No one with an answer? I'll give you 1 more minute. Think, think, think. Meanwhile, I'll start drawing the tension in string 1. Let me call it as T. So this T will pull this block. It will pull this pulley. It will pull this pulley downwards. It will pull this pulley upwards. This pulley upwards. This pulley downwards. This pulley sideways. And this block right or left, whatever it is. Now, this is T, this is T. We have seen from the previous classes that this will become 2T. How many of us remember this funda? Up T and T, so down becomes 2T, and in between there is a pulley. Do we remember this? Niharika remembers it. So Niharika has raised hands. What about the others? Do we remember this? Only Niharika remembers this. Nayan, Vasant, Tarun, Tanu, Kiran, Vishal, Akshay, Rahul, Abhiram seems to have recollected this. Even if you don't remember it, you can now see. You have not lost anything up till now. Even if you don't remember, this is the first that I have to know this. So you remember this. Upwards is T and T, so downwards will be 2T. Upwards is T, 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 3T, downwards is 3T. Upwards and downwards forces for the pulley have to be same because pulley is massless. This is 2T. Now this is 2T on the block. Now I will start drawing the free body diagram of the block. Let me start from here. 2T is upwards. The weight of this block is downwards, that is 10 times the mass m, 10 standing for acceleration due to gravity. There is no other force acting on this block, and hence I can write that this is the free body diagram of this block. I've drawn the sketch. I've drawn the free body diagram of block M. Now comes the turn for block of 5 kg. One force is already drawn here, T. The other force is gravity, which is acting downwards, 50. The other force is normal reaction N. From this ground, which is in perpendicular direction, this becomes the free body diagram of block of 5 kg. But here it's a problem. I've said that this system is in equilibrium. How this system can be in equilibrium? Now, if I try to draw the free body diagram of this block here, on the x-axis, I see one force T, but on the y-axis, but on the other side, I don't see any force. That means I have given you the wrong question. Yes, because there is no force on the other side, so this block cannot be in equilibrium. So I'll have to apply a force on this block, and I'll have to tell you how much is this force. Let me say that this force is 10 Newton. Now, this question can be solved. So I forgot to give you this force. So this 10 Newton should be there. Okay. Now we move ahead. We look at this block and we look at the equation on the x-axis. Like it must be balanced. The value of T must be equal to 10 Newton. Yes or no? Do we understand this? T this side. If there is nothing on this side which I drawn wrongly, if there is nothing on this side, this block will not remain in equilibrium. So something has to be on this side. Now I have drawn 10 Newton on this side. So 10 Newton on this side should be equal to T on this side. So T becomes 10 Newton. Do we understand this? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? Yes. Well done, Yarika. Now let us draw the equation of y-axis. Let us draw the equation of y-axis for this block. Y-axis equation of this block will look like what? Upward force is N, downward force is 50. So my normal reaction becomes 50. As simple as that. Now I move to the second block. There's only one equation possible here. 2T is equal to 10M. I already know the value of T. 2 into 10 is equal to 10 into M. This implies that my mass M becomes 2 kg, and these are the set of answers that I am looking at. Do we understand this? How we have done this? Now we have solved this question. There was one thing missing in the question that I gave you, knowingly or unknowingly. There must be a force in the backward direction. I forgot to draw that force. And see, if you forget to draw even one force, which I keep on telling you. Yes, Niharika. So even I got confused. See, we are all human beings. We can all make mistakes. So probably since I was just making that question there in the last class, time was running out, I forgot to draw this force. Doesn't matter. Now you have the answer. And now you know why you were not able to get your answer. Do you understand this question now? Can I have raised hand that we understand this now, sir? Niharika seems to understand this. What about the others? Rahul, Abhiram, Nayan, Vasant, Tanu, Kiran, Vishal, Akshay, we're all there. Okay. I'll give you one last, not one last, I'll give you one of this type and one of the other type, because I want you to solve every question that comes in this category. So I will give you this one first. Tick, 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 tick. Here we have one pulley. Here we have one block. Let me make it one more block here. We make the length of the string more. So let me make the length of the string more. One block here. And we have one block here. Okay. This block is 6 kg. This block is 2 kg. And how many strings you see here? I think this is string number 1. This is string number 2. And this is string number 3. This block is M. Even without solving this question, you can tell me the value of this block M. But anyways, find out the value of M and tension in the string. Chalo. Question number 6. How many of you are trying this? Nayan, Vasant, Tarun, Tanu, Niharika, Kiran, Vishal, Akshay, Abhiram, Rahul. Are you trying it? Trying is important. Even Lord Krishna says in his famous recitation, the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, to karam kar, do your karma, do your job, phal ki ichha mat kar. Don't worry about the result. I am here, I am there. Look at your karma and then give you the result. Karma is what we are destined and supposed to do with all our might, with all our sincerity, with all our dedication. Start with the karma. Time starts now. 1 minute left. Let me have some water. Okay. Anyone with any answer? Till you are looking for your answers, let me start my karma, because Lord is also going to decide whether I am doing my karma or not. So I'll have to do my karma. Let me call the tension here as T1, 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 and T1. Now I call the tension here is T2. Now you will say, sir, why not T1 and T2 same? See, when there was a pulley in between, pulley does not have mass. So I can say upward force is always equal to downward force. But here, as you can see, there is not a mass. There is no pulley. There is a mass. Whenever there is a mass, you cannot say that tension on this side will be same as tension on this side, or tension in the upward direction will be same as tension in the downward direction. And that is why I have written it as T1 and T2. Do you all understand this? This is T2. But look at the case of string 3. T3 here, T1 here, T1 here. So what will be the tension in the upper wala string? It is attached to a pulley. Pulley does not have mass. So this will be 2 times T1. Do we understand the difference between this T1, T1? Why this is T1, T1 and why this is 2T? And why this is T1 and why this is T2? Do we understand the difference? Why I have named them like this? T1 and T2, string 1 and string 2 are attached to a block M, and therefore their tensions are not same, but string 1 and string 3 are only attached to the pulleys. That is why their tension have a relation. Do we have an understanding of this? Nayan, Vasant, Tanu, Niharika, Kiran, are you all there? Okay. Now it's our time to draw the free body diagram. Let us start with the 6 kg block. Oops, wrong color. This will be 60 downwards, and this becomes the free body diagram of this block. As soon as I draw the free body diagram of this block, I should be able to write the equation. There is only one equation possible here, which is equation along y-axis, and this is T1 is equal to 60. So I got the value of first thing, T1 is equal to 60. Do we understand this? T1 is equal to 60. That is my first answer. Now the tension in this string is 2T. So this becomes 2 multiplied by 60. So I have the answer for tension in the second string, sorry, tension in the third string, and tension in the third string becomes 120 Newton. Do we understand this? Okay. Now let us look at this block M. One force is T2 upwards, then its weight will be going downwards. 10 M, 10 is G. This becomes the free body diagram of this block. As soon as we have the free body diagram of this block, we can write this equation. Only one equation is possible, that is along y-axis. So T2 becomes equal to 10M. But we don't know how much is M. We don't know how much is T2. So we need one more equation. And from where that equation is going to come? That equation is going to come from this block. Yes, beta. One force is T1 upwards. One force is T2 downwards. But remember its weight. Its weight is also acting downwards. That is 10. 2 multiplied by 10. That is 20. So this becomes the free body diagram of this block. If you are getting confused, I will again draw it in a separate way. This is 2 kg block. Upward force is T1. Downward force, there are two forces acting in the downward direction. One is the weight 20 newtons and the other one is tension T2. Do we understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Okay. Now I can write from this diagram or from the other one. Upward force is T1. T1 will be equal to 20 plus T2. The value of T1 is already known, 60. 60 equal to 20 plus T2. That should get me the value of T2. The value of T2 becomes 40 newtons. The value of T2 becomes 40 newton. As soon as I get the value of T2 as 40 newtons, I put it here. 40 is equal to 10M. From here, I get the value of M as 4 kg. My M becomes 4 kgs. My T2 tension becomes, M becomes 4 kgs. From here, T2 becomes 40 newtons. T1 becomes 60 newtons from this block equation, and that is how I solve this question. Do we understand this? Can I have some raised hand that we understand this, sir? Only Niharika seems to have understood this. Shall I repeat the entire process? Nayan, Vasant, Tanu, Kiran, Vishal, Akshay, Rahul. What we have done is we have drawn the free body diagrams. We started with tension, tension in string 1, tension in string 2, tension in string 3. 1 and 3 are related because they are attached to a pulley. Then we drew the free body diagrams of 1, 2, and 3 blocks, written their equations, and we were done. I hope you have understood this. We'll move on ahead. Like this. Question number 7. This is a block of 10 kg attached to one string like this, then attached to one string like this at an angle of 37 degrees. You have to find the tension in all the strings. How many strings you see? 1, 2, 3. You see 3 strings. You have to find tension in all the 3 strings. Your time starts now. 37 degrees. You must be knowing that cos of 37 degrees is, I think, 4 by 5. And sine of 37 degrees is 3 by 5. You would be requiring this data to solve this question. Okay. I hope you are drawing your free body diagrams. I would also go. There's only one body that I see here. Let me draw the free body diagram. Tension in this string T1. Pulling the block T1. This string is a different string attached to a block. So I have to call the tension as T2. Pulling the block here. T2 pulling the ceiling or wall here. Third string attached to a block T3. This is T3. The only force that is left is our old force, gravity, 10G, which is 100. So this becomes the free body diagram. This becomes the free body diagram of this. Now there is a small problem here. Not a problem. You need to do one more thing here. This is my y-axis. This is my x-axis. This is going along negative y. This is going along positive y. This is going along negative x. But this force is going in a different direction. So what we need to do now? Anyone? Yes, we need to resolve it. We need to resolve it into 2 components. One component will go like this. Yes, Niharika. and the other component will go like this. This component will become T3 cos of 37, T3 cos of 37, cos of 37 is 4 by 5, so it becomes 4T3 by 5. This component becomes T3 sine of 37. Sine of 37 is 3 by 5, so it becomes 3 by 5 T3. Do we all understand this? Great. Then I can make the equations from here. I hope you understand. What are the equation along x-axis? Can anyone tell me what is the equation along x-axis and y-axis? Anyone? Please raise your hands. Who can tell me equation along x-axis? What is the equation along x-axis? Anyone? Please raise hands. Abhiram, can you unmute yourself and tell me what is the equation along x-axis? Abhiram cannot unmute. Anyone else? Niharika? Tanu? Nayan? Vasant? What is the equation along x-axis? Along the left hand side, I have T2. T2 here. On the left hand side, I have T2. And on the right hand side, I have T3 cos of 37, which is 4 T3 by 5. Do you all understand this? Please raise your hands if you understand this step. On one side, I have T2. On the other side, I have T3 into 3 by 5. Now, let us look at what we have along y-axis. On y-axis, I have one T1, I have one T1 and other 3 by 5 T3. So on the positive y-axis, I have T1 plus 3 by 5 T3. Raise hand will give me more confidence that we are following what I am saying. T1 is upwards, 3T by 5 is upwards. What is there on the downside? We have this gentleman 100. The yellow one are the yellow highlighter I have used for x-axis. The green highlighter I have used for y-axis. This is equal to 100. Do we understand this, everyone? T1 plus 3T by 5 into T3 is equal to 100. Will you be able to solve this equation? Will you be able to solve this equation? Yes or no? Yes or no? How many equations you have? How many equations you have here? You have two equations. You have two equations. But how many variables you have? That was the reason I have given you this question. Two equations. But how many variables you have? See here. How many variables you have? T2, T3, and T1, you have three variables. You have three variables. So unless something else is given to you, these equations cannot be solved because you have three equations and only two variables. So remember, important point that I have to tell you from this equation is, for one block, if you only have one block, for one block, you can only make two equations. For one block, you can only make two equations, one along x and one along y. One along x and one along y. Along x, we will have one equation. Along y, we will have one equation. You can only solve for two unknowns. You cannot solve for three unknowns. So remember, whenever you are getting stuck, more unknowns, less equations, that means you are missing something. There must be some data that is given in the question that you have not taken into account. And what is the data that should be given in this question to solve it? The data that should be given, which I did not give you so that you get confused, is T1 is same as T2. The tension in the two strings have to be same. So this is how you understand that you are missing something. Two equations, three variables cannot be solved. There must be additional information given, and you will encounter such questions in this class. Not in this class, maybe in rotation, where you will always land up with one equation less. I told you na, in the last class. Did I tell you or did I tell the JEE wala people that you might end up with less equations and more variables? That means you are missing something. In this case, what you are missing is the relation between T1 and T2. T1 and T2 are same. So instead of writing T1 and T2, you can just write it as T. I can just write this as T. I can just write this as T. Now you can solve this equation. How can you solve this equation? T will be 4 T3 by 5. 4 T3 by 5. And here T plus 3 T3 by 5 is 100. So I can put the value of T here. I can put the value of T here. So 4 T3 by 5 will be equal to plus 3 T3 by 5 is equal to 100. We can solve this question and get the value of T3. Once you get the value of T3, you should be able to get the value of T. Do we all understand this? Can I have raised hands that whenever from one block you can only get two equations? If you find that there are three variables, look at the question again. There must be something that you are missing. There must be something that you are missing. Do we understand this? Can I have some raised hand that we understand this, sir? Niharika understands this. Viram understands this. Someone was in the last class. Someone, yes, good. One block. The bottom line of this discussion. One block, only two equations. Don't look for more equations because it is not possible to make another equation. One block, two equation, x and y. You can also make an equation on z-axis. You will say, sir, z-axis, one block, three equation. There is no force on the z-axis, beta. So I cannot make the third equation. There is no force there. Will you remember this? Always, beta. Please remember my words. Whatever I am telling you in each and every class, you might not be able to write everything. You have to remember it. And whenever you are getting less equations than your unknowns. That means you have done something. I will not call it mistake. I will call it you have missed a point in the question. And sometimes the most important point in the question you will miss because it is written in such a way. The particle starts from rest. Find the velocity after 3 seconds. If you miss the word rest, you don't know the initial velocity, you will never be able to find out the final velocity. Look for the hidden things in the question. Here, I did not tell you beforehand what is T1 and T2 ka relation, so that you get stuck and then you know, okay, I have to look somewhere else. Right. Got my point? This is how you learn. This is how you learn, and this is the way I'm going to make you learn. Make you think, why, what is wrong? Where do I land up with? Okay, now I'll give you one question for your homework. Nothing will be missing in this question. I'll make sure that nothing is missing. To solve this question, get me the answer in the next class. This question looks like this. This is a block M. This angle is 37 degrees. This is string. This is a block of 10 kg. Okay. What are we supposed to find here? You are supposed to find here the mass of the block M, the tension in the string, and the normal reaction N. There are 3 unknowns here. How many equations you will make? How many equations are possible here? Anyone? Last question for today. How many equations are possible here? How many equations you can make in this graph? And look at the number of unknowns. Tarun only says 2, and then Tarun, beta, there are 3 unknowns. You will not be able to solve. That means you have missed something. How many equations you can make in this question? Please take inspiration from what I've given you just now. How many equations you can make from this? From this gentleman, you can make two equations, X and Y, depending on how we are. And from this gentleman, how many you can make? 1, 2, 3, how many? You cannot make 2 because there is no force on the second axis. So you can only make 1 equation from here. Do we understand this? So the total number of equations are how many? Total number of equations are how many? 3, Niharika. And how many unknowns are there? 3. You should be able to solve it. Tarun, I hope you got the point. I hope you got the essence of the entire class. That is where I'll wind up today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed taking it. Nothing in this life comes for free. You have to struggle for it. Now is the time that you will start struggling. I will make you work hard. I will not give you anything on a plate. I will stop solving each and every question till the last point. See, I solved this question up till here, and then I left it for you. You have to get the value of T3. I cannot solve it for you. You'll have to do it on your own. I hope you understand this and you will be willing to work hard. Can I have some reason that you will be willing to work hard? Because things are going to get a bit on the tougher side because we are moving ahead in time. You'll have to work a little bit harder. Can I have assurance from your side? Only 3 people are willing to work hard. Not good. What about the others? Are you willing to work hard? Yes. Yes. Well done. Work hard. Reap your rewards. That is what Lord Vishnu says. Do your karma. Leave the reward on me. I am there. I'll take care. On that note, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Give your exam. 2D motion and relative motion is the syllabus. Wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.